Hi, Henk Akmans here, Supply Chain Dynamics Chapter 7, Sysdea Gameplay 8, Capacity Management. So far we have seen that this project was doomed in many ways. It was doomed because it had just not enough time to be completed, it had not enough budget to be completed, and there were some counterproductive practices. Perhaps there is something that could be improved with better capacity management. One of the obvious tasks to look at is if there's not enough progress, well, perhaps we should throw some more people at it. For this purpose, I've added the graph here of development capacity available to our screen. And let's see if we, for instance, increase the number of people that you can, at the maximum, allocate to the project to a higher level. And the motivation is that, well, if it's 40 weeks and maximum 25 people, then at the very best you can finish a project in time of a stage of a project of 1,000 tasks within 40 weeks. What if you make it more? Can you then recover some delays? No, you can't. That's what this thing shows. It shows that if you have a higher capacity maximum, you do get more capacity, indeed, but you get too much. What happens also if you look up here, not a lot of changes in stage 1 in terms of the output. There is a higher rate of development in stage 1, so you finish a little bit sooner, but that goes to the expense, all this extra staff that is available here, for staff that is no longer available here. And that has to do with the budget pressures, which become much stronger in this case than in the original case. You see here that if you look at capacity reduction rate, that sooner there's already a desire to cut cost because the project burn rate has been too high. You could call this an illustration of Brooks' law, that when a project is in problems, you shouldn't throw too many people at it, but really the logic behind Brooks' law is a whole different one. It also has to do with that experienced staff then have to train inexperienced staff and can't be productive, and that there's higher coordination costs, etc. But still, so this doesn't work. Is there other stuff we can do? Yes, there is. What we could for instance, also do is see if the initial amount of development capacity that's available up here, the initial capacity, if that could be changed. And we have it up here at 10, but let's say that we start at 25, what we really need, steady state. What would then happen? We can have a look. Capacity, initial capacity slider at 25, and let's run this thing. See, okay, we start at the right capacity. The output is almost the same. The costs are slightly higher, but you do see that we have done more tasks, and that has to do with the fact that the capacity that you lose in the beginning, although it's a little bit up here, this stuff that you do already up here, where you start off in week 1 with 25 tasks per minute, whereas in the base case it's 1, that the area underneath here is the area that you gain. You can complete more tasks here. You do more tasks here because although it seems marginal, because most of the tasks are completed here in stage 1. So there's very little postponement rate here. Very little postponement to stage 2, which you can see up here also. So most of the tasks that should be done in stage 1 are done in stage 1, which results in fewer tasks postponed to stage 2. And that then also has an effect on fewer tasks postponed to stage 3. So that in itself is a good idea. And this shows that you should get fed fast, as was the title of one of the papers that Kim van Oorschot, Kishore Sengupta, Luc van Wassenhoven and myself wrote on the topic. So this in itself is a good idea. What if we combine this then with a few others? Suppose that we then do not delay stuff. Sorry, I keep doing this wrong. Would that get us where we want to? So we have the initials capacity at 25. We don't delay stuff anymore. Would that get us where we'd like to? Well, yeah, even better. Even better, not all the way. Suppose that we then add a little bit of extra time, say just 10 more weeks. Would that be getting us where we want to? That's even a lot better. And then perhaps also a little bit more budget. Say just 10% more budget. And then you're almost there. You're almost there. Let's make that 15% more budget. And now indeed you've just about completed the project. Really want to make sure, then let's make this 20% and let's make this 160 as we had earlier on, and now we're all there. And you see that basically the project is now finished more or less. Well, let's see, when is it finished? Well, before week 140, actually at week 133. So with some more budget, we actually don't need the extra time anymore to complete the whole project. There is no silver bullet in this case. You need and the front loading of staff and some managerial trap practices of postponement, and a little bit more slack in the project duration, and perhaps a little bit more budget to get this going. But in retrospect, this is a project that could have been completed on time, and that's good to know for future projects.